I think the vast majority of people for now is just using those prompts as a substitute to the Google search bar. This is much more intuitive.
All it can do is read existing information, and currently all the existing information is what humans have put on the internet, right? So we've put things there, and ChatGPT just summarizes it more quickly perhaps than Google. I use ChatGPT more, and I had two clients send me their chats. Hey, what's the best investment right now? They sent me their chats. And I was like, oh boy, what's my job security, right?
Do you think that AI just kind of is a stochastic kind of summary of what, you know, of what it can find on the internet, or can it actually abstract and combine and synthesize and be creative on its own and come up with new solutions, and even can it have subjective experience? You know, you can get really philosophical there. And I think it can. I think it can do all of these things. After the tariffs were announced, and you don't have a good advisor, or just somebody that gives you confidence in your decisions, yeah, you might liquidate everything. Just talking to the AI a little bit. It's really fast at confirming all your assumptions. Today's topic is how we use AI. I'll be curious to hear how you guys use AI, and maybe even if you use it for your investment decisions. I'm personally I'm not much of a stock picker, so, but I follow Jordi Visser on YouTube, and I think he's really impressive, and he's much more active in his approach, and he uses AI like crazy. I really enjoy just watching his show and see how he uses AI in his investment process when selecting securities. As I said, I don't really do that. I try to stay passive and broadly diversified. So, but still, I use AI every day, and so I'm just curious to hear about you guys as well. And yeah, we'll see. Maybe if we have enough time, we can also talk about the book, The Psychology of Money. I know, Chris, you looked into it a little bit since our last meetup. But let's start with AI. Yeah, I mean, I can share a little bit my side. And yeah, like I said, I'll be really curious to hear about you guys. But the way I use it is I I really enjoy all the content that you can consume nowadays, especially on YouTube. As for me, YouTube is such a great resource for new knowledge, for inspiration, for everything. Also regarding investment, uh, there's good advice and there's bad advice, but still, just to keep up to date, and also a bunch of other topics, not just investment related. I love. For example, I'm building an agent right now, or I just love website development. Obviously, LongtermTrends is a website, so I follow a lot of technology topics, and then I just use AI to analyze those transcripts and follow up on the topics and the points that I didn't understand. And sometimes I'll have a window open on the side as I listen to the podcast, and I'll like interact with the AI on the side and work through the topics as they're being discussed. So that's really how I like to use them. Sometimes I use deep research functionalities if I really want to go into something. For example, I want to add a lot of practical content on long-term trends on how to invest. Like right now, if you go on the website, it's a lot of very, I would say, descriptive content. It's not very applicable necessarily to your situation. So, for example, if you go on the page stocks versus gold, or Bitcoin versus gold, it's like a comparison of the two assets and how they correlate, but it's not really like, what does that mean for you necessarily? How does that maybe fit into your portfolio? What if you wanted to buy Bitcoin? How could you do it? What do you have to watch out for? Do you do on how do you say, like on premise with your own private key, I guess. Or do you do it through a crypto exchange, or do you buy the ETF? Anyway, I just want to say I'm gonna add a lot of practical content to the website in the future, and obviously I love to use AI for that too, and I have many different tricks to give it as much context as it needs. Um, um, yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. But I'll be curious to hear from you guys also, like how do you guys use AI in your everyday work and and also in the investment process? Who wants to go?
Yeah, you pick one.
Yeah, Neil, why don't you start?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Since I'm gonna be very, very brief, I'm not a big user of AI at the current moment in time. Like I have now, I didn't renew it, but I had my subscription to ChatGPT, that $20 a month for a while. Mainly, it was for research because I think maybe it's not just me. I don't know if I'm being naive, but I think the vast majority of people for now is just using those prompts as a substitute to the Google search bar because it's much more intuitive and it doesn't just give you a list of web pages that then you have to manually click and check and see what's in it, but it just gives you the contextual answer. So it's way easier and it's much more specific. And I used it for some, let's say, more quote unquote complicated stuff when I wanted to create scripts because I can't code. I'm not a coder. And I was trading, and on my trading platform, I was like, I would like to have that feature, but they don't offer that. But then, of course, you can add script on your own. So I said, okay, sorry, Mr. GPT, given this platform is coded in, I don't know, Python or whatever, could you create a script in that coding language which would result in the machine doing this for me when I click this or when the price does that? And I mean, it was kind of crazy to see it was compiling the script. And yeah, there you go, save it and then import it in your platform. By the way, we don't guarantee the result because, of course, I'm still just a baby machine. And yeah, but as far as I saw, it's actually working. I elaborated 2 or 3 indicators, which were
What kind of
particularly good.
script was it exactly? Was it an indicator?
Yeah, one of it was just to plot on the screen the 30-second opening range for Nasdaq and S&P futures, and from there deriving the extensions, 15 points up and down for the S&P and 65 points up and down for Nasdaq, because the market tends to rotate in those intervals of price. So I wanted
And
to have that.
was it on TradingView, or what was it?
The well, I mean, you can literally do it for everything. You just need
Right? Yeah, yeah.
to understand what type of language the platform is using. So yeah, but I didn't do it for TradingView.
Because
And yeah,
because I'm sharing my screen, and I love to do the same. Like all of these scripts or indicators. Like I said, I try to stick close to the total market portfolio, but I still look at assets and I still have some technical indicators that I like. And
yeah,
like all of these indicators, I kind of modified a little bit using AI. And it's magical. Like it used to take me a few shots in the past, but as AI improved, like usually now it's just one shot, and it will get what you want, and it will improve those indicators the way you want them.
yeah. I mean, the world is reversing, right? Do you remember the 2000s? Everyone was telling you you need to learn to code or you're going to be unemployed. And now you got AI, and it looks like, of course, is an exaggeration, obviously, but now you got AI. Everyone can code to some degree. We are so smart thanks to AI. So people will tell you, well, you need to understand and to teach, and sorry, to learn how to become a plumber because your job is going to be taken off by AI in maybe the next 5 years. So doesn't need coders anymore, right? But yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I remember Andrew Carpathy. He's a big figure in AI. He tweeted a while back. He tweeted, the hottest new programming language is English, and
Yeah.
it's kind of true. It's all you need. You just need
Yeah.
to, you know,
Yeah.
describe
I
what you
think
want conceptually, and it will get done usually.
to close in, there may be just one doubt that I might have on AI at this current stage. Like, I guess it's fine. I'm using it myself when I have curiosity or I want to check things. But when it comes down to investing, I think, it's nice to do your own research, right? Of course. But I'm just thinking, like, right now, AI is just scrapping the internet and basically getting all the information, and it gives that back to you in a much condensed form, but it's still information which are already available on the internet. So someone put them there. So up until the point AI can actually think for itself, I mean, isn't it like the old days? Like, okay, so I can read 100 books on investing, or I can ask AI, but at the end of the day, it's going to be kind of the same result, at least based on the same principle, up until the point these things actually become conscious, can actually elaborate new theories, processes on its own, right? So I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess the retail traders or investors, they might have used it to gain access to information that they didn't have before. And if you check the last 2-3 years in the stock market, it looks like the retail investor actually overperformed the institutionals, right? And the money manager. At least that's what a few data would say. It might also be luck, I don't know, because maybe they're buying every single dip, while instead the institutional money manager, he needs to apply a bit more risk management, so he's not buying every single dip. I don't know, but I think it might help even, the financial education of the quote unquote plebs somehow, right?
All right. Yeah. I think there's some philosophical discussions where we could dive into. But I'll be curious to hear also, Chris and Adam, how you guys use AI
Yeah.
in your life and also when it comes to investing.
I mean, if I can just sort of kick in there, I mean, I don't is the short answer, because I don't feel I know really anything that I need to know, particularly from an investment and asset allocation perspective. I mean, interested to hear the remarks of Niels and said about, is it a glorified search engine at the moment? If I type in Google, what are the cheapest UK stocks to buy at the moment, and I just did that, it'll come up with basically a summary of recommendations by various brokers. And then there'll be also a list of sectors to buy. And to what extent is the AI on the AI mode of Google, doing its own thinking? And to what extent, as I say, is it just basically condensing the information that's already out there?
That's interesting. Interesting question.
We agree on that. Yeah.
I guess I think I'll take the other side on that. Who won the physics Nobel Prize in 2024? It was three guys, right? And they were all on AI, and one of them is now talking a lot on AI safety, and he had to answer that question many times. Like, do you think that AI just kind of is a stochastic kind of summary of what, of what it can find on the internet, or can it actually abstract and combine and synthesize and be creative on its own and come up with new solutions, and even can it have subjective experience? You can get really philosophical there, and I think he can. I think he can do all of these things. So
I mean, I guess you're going to have your answer when the Skynet goes online.
what do you say about Skynet?
No, it was just a joke. You're going to have your answer when the Skynet goes online, and you're going to be a slave to your robot's masters, right?
AI safety is a huge topic. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
true. That's true.
I agree. I take it 100% seriously. I just think AI is already very capable.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean, like
much more.
for now, one of the biggest risks it's the fakes, right? Like just the other day
Yeah.
in my own country, we got a few members of the parliament, and there were viral videos on the internet with them talking shit, saying stuff about Gaza, about the war in Ukraine. They never said that. It was all a fake created by AI. So it's strange. Like I guess it's fine up until Trump used it to create videos where he just throws shit on the protesters. You can understand that's fake. I don't know if it's funny, but that's fake. But what about, I don't know, an AI generated video where Putin announced that he just launched a nuclear weapon? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Deepfakes, super problematic. I heard the
Yeah.
other day, already a long time ago, I heard the saying, in a world where anybody can, create any footage, any content, it's gonna be less relevant of what you see, and it's gonna be more relevant, like the source is gonna be more relevant, like,
Yeah.
who posted it. So imagine
Probably.
you see a video of your parents doing something. It's like it's more like who sent you the video rather than did that actually happen? Because it might just be a deep fake.
Yeah, but this goes fucking deep. Like it's like the old movie from the Wachowski brothers, right? The Matrix. What is real, right? If you're talking about that real, those are just impulses received by the brain, right? So you don't
Yeah.
know what is real at a point.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
I
be
wonder
curious to
then.
hear. Yeah, Chris,
I'll
go
answer
ahead.
the first question after I just this soundbite, like Adam and Nils, I'm on your side here a little more so, I'd say, with even ChatGPT. All it can do is read existing information, and currently
Mm-hmm.
all the existing information is what humans have put on the internet, right? So we've put things there, and ChatGPT just summarizes it more quickly, perhaps, than Google. Um, so whereby right now, I think I'd say the cycle of making decisions is a human tells you to do something. At least for me, the human tells you to do something in life, anything, medicine, finance, fitness, relationship. The human gives you advice. You fact check on the internet and you make a decision. Perhaps
Mm-hmm.
it'll flip flop. The chat, the internet, the AI makes it a suggestion, and then you go fact check all your friends. Hey, Sylvan, what do you think? Nils, what do you think? Adam, what do you think? Perhaps it'll flip flop here for how we
Yeah.
utilize these sources. That's just a hypothesis, right? I use ChatGPT more, and I had two clients send me their chats. Hey, what's the best investment right now? They sent me their chats, and I was like, oh boy, what's my job security, right? So I did the same thing, and I realized, oh, this is junk, because they can only read, I think what Adam said is maybe what the brokers say about the stock or what a
Yeah.
brokerage site could. And I'm like, because it only knows what the internet contains. The internet doesn't contain the insight that I have. It just contains all the BS that everyone else posts trying to get them marketing and look at me, look how much I know. And I mean, there's good stuff out there, but it has to rise to the top. So they sent me their chats, and I chat GPT, hey, how should I invest $1 million right now? And it gave me like some well-balanced portfolio, but not the kind of thing that I would ever help somebody buy. Like it gave like the garden, what we call the garden variety portfolio. Oh, buy some large US stocks, some international, some precious metals, and some bonds. It gave that answer. And I'm like, oh, this is like a start, but it's not customized. So I had a little sense of job security there. Then, most recently, I just went to my chat GPT because I know I was working on a project here recently. My most recent investment chat was, I told ChatGPT, I said, make me a table of the annual US debt to GDP ratio. Now, Sylvan, you might have that info on your site as I was going through it. A table
Yeah.
of the annual US debt to GDP, because guys, again, I'm in the US, so we're very US centric here. But my hypothesis, which I didn't complete the project yet, I wanted to get all the annual levels of US debt, like 90%, 105%, 125%, whatever the numbers are, to our GDP. And then I wanted to offset it in some direction to like a 10-year offset, meaning like if debt was, and this table doesn't go back to, if the US debt was 40% in 1966, then what was the stock market performance from 1966 for the next 10 years, right? Because I need to know the next 10 years, and it's impossible to predict, but I'd like to think I can make some kind of reasonable judgment. The US debt was 100% in 2014, and I think our stock market has tripled since 2014. So I want to see like what the impact of debt on our stock market has been. Call it from some point
Yeah.
in time plus 10 years plus some point in time plus 20 years. So, you know, ChatGPT for me, even though I didn't finish the project yet, I was making a lot quicker progress getting to the data I wanted than cut and paste this data, cut and paste that data. Like the chat can just do that for you and get it into
Yeah.
Excel, and then you can figure it out. So it's been, not to say Google couldn't do that before, I don't know, because I didn't try it, but just like the native language prompting, go get me
And
this
did you?
data, you
Sorry,
know? Go ahead, please, Adam. Yes,
sorry
sir.
to interrupt. Did you fact check the data that you got from ChatGPT? It was actually giving you the correct
Thank
data.
you. I appreciate that question. I did not I do believe it gives it source links. I do believe, but sources, hold on, sources. If I click on my chat and I click on sources, as I click on that, if it gives me like some US government website that I recognize, I would take it face value. If, yeah, it's giving me federal websites, US federal government websites where it got its data from. So
Okay.
I feel like I don't need to look any further than when it cites its sources. But that's, Adam, your question is something I do all the time. Whenever I find thing, I'm like, well, who is Alpha 123 user? You know what I mean? I do go deeper, and so I appreciate your question.
Yeah.
ChatGPT seems to be using for this query. It seemed to be using, like, call it the most vetted, validated, trusted sites at
Right.
the outset. It didn't, with no lack of respect here, it didn't cite longer term trends as a source. Because you
Okay.
go to the U.S. federal sites anyway, Sylvan. But I appreciate your question, Adam. But yeah, I know I trust it.
I guess what I'm really saying as well is, are you at the point now where you can put out a research piece and say source ChatGPT? I presume you can't do that.
Don't know. I haven't tried. I haven't tried. I haven't tried in some of my videos, which there's not much of. Adam, like what I'll do is I'll say in the video, "Hey, here's what I did on ChatGPT. Here's the answers. Here's how I got it to my Excel sheet."
Yeah.
I would say that, and my legal team is okay with that so far.
I mean, the reason I ask is I was an economist in London for years, and our compliance was very hot on obviously making sure that everything we put out had been checked and triple checked, particularly as you come back to the earlier points around compliance and what you can say in the public domain. I think it's going to be a long time before people can just blindly say, look, here's a chart, I got it from ChatGPT, without actually digging deeper into actually, where did ChatGPT get it from?
Well, Adam, they can, and if they're, and then the proof is in the pudding, right? I would suggest that someone can do that, and after you watch 3 or 4 of their videos or read 3 or 4 of their research pieces, if it's absolute shite, you're going to stop watching and following the person. So they are risking their own personal capital by
Right.
not doing the due diligence necessary, right? I would think that the fallout will be they'll get some, like any of these sensational videos, they get the near-term hits and they get a lot of looks, but no one sticks around because they're really not that funny, they're not that good, they're not
Yeah.
insightful. So I think time will tell. Like I think the proof would be in the pudding, which would help. Certainly, you're going to have to sift through the charlatans, right? The magicians. You're going to have to sift through that. It's going to be a new human skill set, is to assess other humans' capabilities, right? We're almost like all HR people now. Hey, what does this person really know? But I think that the person who's putting up lousy research will just not gain traction, and the person who is doing good work will have sustainability. That's how I think that would play out, to address your concern.
I agree with you guys. I think, like I mentioned in this quote in the beginning, it's going to be more important in the future, like who posts something and is the person reliable? Do they have a good reputation? Than what you actually see, than what video you see, what image you see, or what chart you see. I think ChatGPT will probably become more reliable in the future in its answers also. But by the way, I think the main reason why it's not quoting long-term trends for now is long-term trends is not easily readable by these generative just by these LLMs basically. So it's funny. It's people used to talk about search engine optimization, and now they start talking about generative engine optimization because not only do you want to optimize your website for Google, you also want to optimize it for ChatGPT. And I haven't done that yet. I want to do that in the future.
I
And
thought,
Chris, when as you were talking about job security, also you mentioned one thing in 2 weeks ago which I really liked, and you said investing is easy. What is hard is financial planning. And I think financial planning, sitting down with people and building a relationship, obviously, with them and helping them with their personal financial situation and their financial needs, and then come up with an investment plan for them, as well as how do you liquidate it over time because you have financial needs. And I just want to say, even if ChatGPT can create for you a portfolio, which even might be diversified and according to best practices, even in that case, um, the whole financial planning aspect is not as easily automatable, even though it might be in the future. But I really like that thing you said last time. But like maybe you can elaborate on it. Like what exactly did you mean when you said investing is easy but financial planning is hard?
Chris, I have another $100,000. Chris, I have another $500,000. Where do I put it? Chris, I'm getting a raise. Do I save it in my US-based 401k plan? Do I not? Chris, here's what I get a lot of right now. Chris, I have all these people. I'm in my 70s and my kids are in their 40s. I have more money than I'm ever going to spend. What happens is, and this is a little bit of the Psychology of Money book. He talked about this a little bit. The Psychology of Money book, which I read in like 2 nights because it was so fun to read. I've never read a
It's
book
really
so
good,
fast.
right?
Oh, I found that the last 5 chapters were better than maybe the first 15. That's when he really got into kind of like the psychology of stuff that I see. So what
Mm.
happens is, I have people with like $10 million US dollars. This is all US based, right? And they have like a $500,000 house and they have a $25,000 car. And they just cannot bring themselves to go spend any money. They will never buy a boat. They will never go to Tiffany's. They will never have a Rolex. They go out to dinner. They go with their family. They take very nice trips, very nice trips. They will treat themselves on trips, first class, nice hotels. An expensive trip for somebody like that is maybe 25,000 US dollars. That's an expensive trip, but for them, it's nothing. And where I'm going with this is they're like, well, I can't take any more trips. I'm not going to buy my own plane. I'm not going to buy a new car. There's no way to avoid my kids getting millions of dollars. Some of the kids have money. When I mean kids, I mean 40 and 50-year-olds. Some of my 40 and 50-year-olds already have millions of dollars. And they're like, yeah, I don't need my parents' money. Others are like, Chris, can you send me some money? Send me some money. I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke. And I'm like, oh my God, these parents are in trouble because they're constantly like, once the kids get the money, I need to
thank
make
God.
sure I coach the kids. So when I say kids again, 40, 50-year-olds, I got a guy up in New York. I've got to coach this guy that when he gets $5 million from his parents, he doesn't spend it in the first weekend. The guy is broke. He's got no money. He can't hold down a job. He calls me for money all the time. So that's a case. I mean, this is not everybody, but this is like what happens, the planning. How do I give my kids money? How do I give my kids money and teach them to be responsible about it? Hey, Chris, how do I inherit this money from my parents and not mess up everything they've done? Wealth transfer is a big topic here in America. Wealth
Yeah.
transfer, we call it.
Mm.
But Sylvan, that's the thing. Hey, Chris, I'm 50 years old. I just got another $100,000. How do I invest this? Hey, Chris, I need to take money out. Which investment do I take it out of?
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, do I put more into my retirement account or non-retirement account? Those are many decisions I make help people make on a weekly basis versus do I buy large cap stocks, international stocks, or
Exactly.
bonds. I mean, that's part of it, but the other half is which account do I buy them in? How much do I put into it? What do I do? You know, so there's just and it dovetails on the ChatGPT. You can ChatGPT that all day. And people come in with better questions. They come in, I start conversations ground running. I don't have to explain the vernacular. I don't have to conduct like a language session of mutual fund, ETF, stock bond. Like the basic investment language is known, thank goodness, because of the internet. So we can jump in to the meeting and get it done in 10 minutes because they know the language. And I don't speak technical. I speak pretty basic. But because of the internet, because we're just born. We just like walk into the room knowing 80% of the subject matter, and you need the expert to give you the other 20%. Our kids, they're coming out of school. They know we're scared that they know so much. Well, they know a lot because they know half of what we know, but they don't know the experience half. They know the technical half, but not the experience half. So everyone, the world, we all know the internet's there. Everyone knows everything. Oh, this is my other joke. You ever see a US football game? The coach, all the colors, and he walks up and down the sideline like that so you can't read his lips, right? All the colors on the chart, and he hides his chart from the camera. I think to myself, buddy, you can tell me and my 10 boys, we have 11 people on the field. Let's talk soccer, right? There's 11 players on a soccer pitch, right? Pep Guardiola can say, hey, Chris, I'm going to send Bernardo Silva down the wing and he's going to cross it to Holland. You can tell me that. Me and my 10 friends can't stop you. You're so good. So these coaches are walking around like hiding their plays, but you can just tell me what's coming. All the clients out there investing, all the people, I'll tell you what's coming next. But guess what? Half of you won't even know what to do. Even though I tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen on Monday. I'll tell you. Half the people can't do it. They just can't do it. I will tell you I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen, but if I could tell you exactly what's going to happen on Tuesday at 9 a.m., only half the people would do it. So, I mean, all this information, I just think that we still need the human to say, Sylvan, Chris, here's what you do right now, and we will shake our head. Okay, Adam, if you say that's what to do, we will do it. But without the human, there's still this human element in life right now to get things done and to improve.
Do you also get a lot of calls in a crisis mode, for example, right after tariff day or right after COVID?
Because every call I have with people, every year, sometime in the year, I tell people that your account looks like this. Here's the way your account looks. Just a reminder, here's how much money you have, and here's how much in stocks and bonds and cash. And I ask everybody, Sylvan, at some point throughout the year, if it hits the fan, are you going to here's how much safe money you have. Is this enough safe money so that if it hits the fan this year, you are okay? Yes, Chris, I have $100,000 safe. I like that. Yes, Chris, I have $1 million safe. I like that. The calls I get on the stock market down days, can I buy? Can I buy? Can I buy? I don't get, oh my God, Chris, sell all my money, because
that shows how well you kind of educated your clients and to what place you got them, because that's the right question to ask, right? I mean, the worst question to ask will probably be, is the world going to end? Should I liquidate my portfolio? But it's cool that the people call you and ask you, should I buy more?
Well, the money guy, that psychology of money guy, he even says about this. Now, there's a cost. There's a cost for this, right? I have people who have $1 million US in cash. No, they have $5 million in US stocks. So $1 million in America now pays 4% a year. So I have people, it's almost the end of the year. I have people who made 4% with their $1 million, but they did not make 16%, which is what the US stock market is up. Somebody cost them 12%. Somebody cost them $120,000. You want to say it's me? I accept that. They want to say it's them? I accept that. Somebody cost them in opportunity cost terms money. But what I say is no. They would never have had their $4 million in stocks if they did not have their $1 million in bonds or cash. The market goes up, the market goes down. I don't care. My $1 million is $1 million. So the emotional security of that safe money
Yeah.
is what I ask people to achieve so that when it gets bad, oh, thank goodness I still have the $1 million safe, the $100,000 safe. Not everyone has that much money. The $100,000 safe, the $50,000 safe. Yeah, Chris, I'm good. I still got my $50,000. I hear you. This will blow over. I have time. So, this guy in the psychology of money, he talked about him. Like, thank God, he said things better than I can say things. I'm a STEM guy. I'm not a writer. So he said things in such wonderful ways. And even he says, hey, look, I keep 20% of my money in cash. He's like, it's more cash
Yeah.
that I need.
Even though it's not necessarily rational, right?
I
Yeah.
paid off my house. That's not the best economic decision.
Yeah.
He's like, but you know what? I'm not nervous. And it lets me keep going with my growth investments. So,
And I think it's really hard to get that, that emotional security. It's really hard to get that through AI, I guess, this and also to avoid the mistakes, like to avoid making the the wrong decisions. Like you might do that if you only had AI, if
Oh yeah.
after the tariffs were announced, and you don't have a good advisor or just somebody that gives you confidence in your decisions, yeah, you might liquidate everything just talking to the AI a little bit. It's really fast at confirming all your assumptions. Um, so yeah, I think that's a lot that you give to your clients, which definitely won't be automated anytime soon.
But you know what? I think and I guess it was highlighted in here. There is a silver line, I guess, in between having the information available and then having the guts to actually make the information actionable. Like, I mean, we are all so smart, right? Compared to our grandpas with no internet, no mobile phones or whatever. We have access to a plethora of information, a universe, a cosmos of information that it was unthinkable 50 years ago. And yet, no matter all the information you can have, when the day comes where the S&P is down 8% in one single session, or like, on Monday or last Friday, gold goes down 8%, it's clipped down 8% in one day. I mean, we can stay here and debate about who got the more information, if you are more or less smart than what we were before. I'm betting you 95% of people, we just shit their pants and they're going to stay there watching at the screen like Muppets, and they're not going to do shit. Because there is a difference in between having the information and having the guts. And I can tell you because I do it every single day. Like on Monday, I sold down almost all my gold. I'm down to 25% my original allocation, and I bought back up. I don't know how long I'm gonna hold to that position, but I got back in between 4,050 and 4,020. Now we'll see how the bounce goes. It might be faded. I don't know. I think I just thought I had an edge there, but the problem was when the market broke, like it retested the all-time highs, and then it immediately broke down. As soon as it broke a relevant level, you don't have to think twice. I already thought about it over the weekend, and you can look at the testimony of it. I recorded that. As soon as the market didn't do what I expected it to do, sell it all. Like maybe not all, conserve a little bit of exposure, obviously, but just the risk. And it's
Yeah.
easy for me to say, but I'm betting you the majority of people, they just look at the screen. Oh my God, what's going on? What should I do? Who should I call? What am I going to do? Or what if he keeps on going? Should I sell now? But then if it bounces now, I sold for nothing. All the doubt in
Yeah.
the world is going to assault you if you're not
It's
prepared.
really, I think it's really hard to stay rational when it comes to investing and to stay disciplined, like to follow the rules that you once set up. And also, it reminds me of I was actually during COVID, during the peak of the crisis. I was setting up an account in a broker, and as an onboarding question, it asked me about how would you react hypothetically if the market was down 40%? Would you buy more? Would you sell everything? Just to get your
Oh,
risk tolerance, right? Standard question,
yeah.
standard onboarding question. And I clicked I would buy more, and what was funny was next to the hypothetical number, it showed the actual number. Like, how was the market down over or up over the last 12 months? And it was actually it was a worse number than the 40%. It was, the 40% was supposed to be an extreme example, but the actual performance of the markets was even worse. And even though I just went through that onboarding, and even though I knew, um, even though I just told the broker I would buy more, and you know, yeah, I didn't. I waited the crisis out, and
Yeah.
until I invested that amount. So it's really hard to be rational when it comes to investing.
Yeah.
Nils, is any amount of, when you say these levels and these breakouts, is there any trading strategy you do whereby then it's a momentum trade? If gold goes below, I don't even know where it is today. I'm so sorry. I don't know the level. But if gold goes down 0.25%, do you then sell short because the momentum suggests it might go down 0.5%? Is there any momentum play where you try in either direction?
It is actually about momentum. Now, again, I could link you the video that there is a specific section about gold I recorded last Saturday. And, looking at things like a framed over the weekend, so the markets were closed, I was like, okay, gold just dropped a little bit. All right. But I already seen it. It was just maybe 1 month and a half ago. It did the same pattern, and then it reaccumulated and it kept on pushing up. So I said, okay, well, I'm expecting the same because the trend is a trend until the end of the trend. The momentum is not shifted yet. I'm looking at some few structural level. They're not breached yet. We didn't have a close below. So I think this is still on the go for going up. Then on Monday, immediately went up. It got back to the highs and immediately sold off. So I said, you know what? Last time did it, got the same pattern, sharp drop, reaccumulated, went up, and it kept on going. This time, reaccumulation goes up, can't go up. It stops there, and the move is faded. Something is changing. The momentum is shifting. You know what? This thing, as I see it, all the support which was below, all the potential liquidity pockets, whatever could hold price above the current level, is already tapped in. All those buyers already bought. I'm not going to sit in a move which, for me, in my assessment, could easily go down 5, 6, 7%. I'm going to be out after the first 2%. Because my rule is I want to participate in 70 to 80% of the upside, but I want to suffer only 20 to 30% of the drawdown. Mm-hmm. And again, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's not science, right? It's just probabilities for me. But again, if I sell a lot when the market breaks, like let's call it 4,300, I'm more than happy to buy it back when the market reaches into the 4,000, kind of like the psychological level, 4,000 even. It was the 21 exponential moving average on the daily. So if you look at the trend, it's where the market more often than not actually sit. And I bought back in right there. Yeah, right where you see
I opened your video, Neil.
Yeah, it's where you see that first gray rectangle there. The market just bounced, and it's still bouncing off of it. So I bought into it. I bought back what I sold. Now, is it going to work? I don't know. It might very well be that on Monday we crack it, and if we crack it and if we close below that, I'm going to sell again what I just bought, because I think at that point it's going to go down even more. So see, that's what I was looking over the weekend on the hourly time frame. If we crack those levels, the market will probably retest all-time highs. If we reject, I'm already selling. The market actually went up, and then it cracked back below those dotted lines, and that's where I knew I wanted to sell, because there wasn't anything below it.
Can I ask you a question then? I mean, how much of your trading strategy is subjective, and how much of it is just program trading?
Now it's all discretionary. I don't use any algo. I don't use any quantitative type of thing.
But your levels are determined by key points that you are looking at, that I presume you think the market is looking at as well.
Yeah, well, I just assume the market is looking at them, because last time we were there, the market was auctioned up to a new levels. So it's like, the market goes up, it creates a pause we got new positions established, it creates a floor, and then from that floor it starts to go up. So I'm expecting at the very least, when it get back down, revisiting that previous floor established, we're going to have at least a bounce, which for me is at least a trading opportunity. I don't know in the long run.
I presume AI could replicate that if you instructed what levels you're looking at.
Oh, I guess you could actually have a friend which spent the last 3 years developing an algo which is doing that. He is not having that huge success he was hoping for, and he's constantly, pitching him to he's asking for help because I just did what you told me, but the level didn't hold, and I have to go through and say, yeah, the level didn't hold, but you have to consider the delivery into the level. If the market drifts into the level, those are conviction sellers. So just get out of the way, just remove your limit buy. If the market is plunging into the level, that is very inefficient. So keep your limit buy there, because at least you could expect a little bit of a bounce because the move is inefficient. And more often than not, you have stitch ups. But after an inefficient move,
AI could not replicate.
I mean, again, I think at the end of the day, everything could be replicable. I don't know if anyone can actually do it. Same as I don't know how to code, so I don't even know if I could code it myself. It's just what I see. It's just in my brain. That's part of the discretionary aspect of it.
In the future, we should do a session where you show us your trading setup and your rules, Neil. No, but we're approaching the end of the hour. Just wanted to say thanks, guys, for joining. Another awesome conversation. I really enjoyed it. Is there anything you'd like? Any topics you'd like to deep dive? Maybe in 2 weeks. Any feedback? Any wishes?
I mean, if we want to be a little bit doom and gloomy, we could discuss the recent events in the subprime lenders environment. Like I've seen many subprime lenders are actually going bust still. For now, it's auto loans, so maybe it's not that impactful. But I mean, 2, 3, then 4.
Is that the small retail bank thing story that popped up in the US? Is that the same one? Is that the same story?
I mean, my understanding is they're kind of tied to the hip, right? But right. I don't think it's yet a so much big story to impact the entire system. Although, as Jamie Dimon said, if there is one cockroach, there might be more. So we'd see about that.
I think what I'll do also, feel free to join the Discord server if you haven't already. And I think I'll also ask a question there. Hey, do you have maybe anybody has maybe somebody has a YouTube video they'd like to share and they'd like to focus on in the next meetup. And so if you have a good video on this subprime crisis that might be brewing up, we could share it for the next meetup and do a deep dive there, but we can discuss the topic also.
AI. We can use AI to research it together.
Yeah, you could ask ChatGPT. Yeah, ChatGPT. Why first brands went bust? What's going on?
That's right.
What happened to Zion?
I love how we circled back to the topic of today's show.
Yeah. If I can respond to one thing you said, I know you want to conclude the call, but for your longer term trend side, I mean, although you called it descriptive data, I think it's wonderful and brilliant. And if you're going to do more content-based, maybe a section or a separate website, I wouldn't cloud the two. My selfish request is that you don't maybe cloud the two together. Or for your own sake, maybe you can use your YouTube channel to do the more content-based, more like how do you buy gold or how do you buy crypto or how do you do this? Maybe for your YouTube channel, those can be the topics. How do you do this? Because this is what the longer term trends say to do. This is the outcomes for long term, but in the near term, you need to know how to do this. I think your site's brilliant, so I wouldn't necessarily cloud it with that content. But if you want to do that, somehow keep it in there separate or do it separately with your YouTube channel. Just feedback from what you said. That's all. I mean, I'm no expert, obviously, but just feedback because I think
a friend actually told me the same thing today.
The longer term trends is so good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Chris. All right. Any last words? Also, Adam, how was it for you? Anything you'd like to discuss next time?
I mean, gosh, what am I looking at all the time? Is valuations.
Yeah,
In a
we can talk about valuations
recently, but yeah, what are the catalysts for the next big correction?
Yeah. I mean, again, it would fit the doomy and gloomy thing, right? Valuation crazy, the AI in a bubble. Also, if you're looking for a bubble, look at the Chinese electric cars manufacturers. Just saying, right? But we might expand on it next or in 2 weeks from now.
All right. Well, send me a video if you find a good video that we could, focus on. Let me know. And,
well, even Adam, one pitch back to the book, that Sylvan asked us to read for 2 weeks ago. Adam, this book, The Psychology of Money, that Sylvan had for the book club chat a couple weeks ago, it talks about waiting for the next correction, how difficult it is to predict the next correction. Maybe the Benjamin Graham value investing style, how it's very hard to actually execute that now where valuations are, what the success of that would have been, even if you got it right, the Charlie Munger style. And then Nils, the book also talks about making sure that, and this doesn't pertain to you maybe, but play your game. So you're playing your game, but sometimes if a long-term investor tries to do your short-term stuff, it's not in their best interest. And you're buying on momentum, you're buying on visuals. But the book talks about that. So it was really good that all this is kind of coming together. All this talks together.
Yeah. As I said in the past, I wouldn't advise to mix the two things.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for joining. It was awesome. See you soon.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, guys.
All you guys too. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.